welcome to LSB Feasters Radio Channel and Travel Corner, where our mission in life is to keep great radio from the past alive, and today we're featuring the radio station that started it all, or at least we're always told that, 1020 KDKA Pittsburgh and legendary air talent Art Pallan. Art, from the time he was a kid, knew that he wanted to be on the radio. In fact, when he graduated high school and took a job with Procter Gamble, during his lunch hour, he would take the time to watch the jocks at WWSW and KDKA. He tried and tried to get hired, and finally, he landed a job at WWSW. And while he was there, he was mentored by Bill Cullen. Now, Bill Cullen, who was on the staff at WWSW, finally made the big time and became a game show host, getting national attention. Well, Pallan learned a lot from him, and eventually in 1956, he got hired at KDKA, and he stayed here. He became popular. He did the midday show for many years, and his trademark was his white goatee and his brightly colored Hawaiian shirts. Anyway, Pallan eventually moved to mornings to join sidekick Bob Trow. And the morning show was called Pallan and Trow 2 for the show. It debuted in fall of 1965 and ran through April 1968. And at the time, KDKA said they wanted to change direction in the mornings, and they brought in Jack Bogut from Salt Lake City. Pallan then returned to the midday show, where he continued to do his thing until he retired in February 1985. Now, there's not a lot of MOR air checks or full service air checks out here, so I'm glad we have this one from the 1960s. And you will notice in this air check, KDKA sounds a lot like its sister station, WBZ in Boston. I wonder why. Anyway, I got to thank Doug Allen for this air check. He passed it along to me. And if you like what you hear, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel too if you like. And after you do, smack that bell. And you will be notified whenever we post anything new. All right, it's 1969 and you're listening to Art Pallan on KDKA 1020 Pittsburgh.
KDKA Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh.
This is Art Pallan. If you need reason to be grateful for your own good health, think of those not so well blessed. For instance, children with birth defects, children born blind, born deaf, born crippled. Will they ever be well enough to be grateful? Why not give them a hand? Give to the March of Dimes.
KDKA Pittsburgh.
We have a turnpike advisory for you from Gateway to New Jersey, mostly cloudy and wet with some light snow in the Somerset area. Northeast extension of the turnpike, cloudy and wet. So if you're going to be doing some traveling, we pass that along to you. We have something else here, George? Oh, yes, there are going to be some folks going to do some skiing over the weekend, a long weekend for many. Bear Rocks has 6 to 20-inch base, skiing conditions, good. Blue Knob, 10 to 60. Boyce Park, 10 to 12 base. Seven Springs, 32 to 36 base. Woo-wee! And they have mixed rain and snow, and it's icy. Yeah, that's been the condition that we've had around this area for the last 24, even more than that, 24 hours or more, where we had a decent amount of snow accumulation, and then the rain on top of that, a crust of ice over top of all of it. And as you start walking along, you crunch through it. And I remember as a kid, sometimes you'd be going through there, and then you'd cut your legs. You remember that? Sure. Well, this is the kind of thing that is going to bring back some memories, or will be the memory time for a lot of the kids today. They're when they become adults in the future, they'll be looking back on these days as the days when they were cutting their legs. That's terrible. What do? Wear certain kind of boots, I guess, or just stay in until it clears up.
KDKA Pittsburgh.
Every member of the family will find an added attraction of interest in the Pittsburgh press this Sunday. Two new features will make their debut in the press Sunday, a comic strip, The Wizard of Id, and the Famous Authors series. And the family's financier will find complete year-end stock tables. If it's a laugh you're looking for, you're sure to enjoy the wacky, wonderful comic strip called The Wizard of Id, which will appear daily and Sunday in the press comics pages. The Famous Authors series will appear regularly in Roto magazine. It will include such writers as Philip Wiley, McKinley Cantor, Irving Wallace, John Kenneth Galbraith, and many more. The first article this Sunday, called Is White America Turning Yellow?, was written by Mr. Wiley, who authored A Generation of Vipers and other bestsellers. And if you're a stockholder, you'll want to scrutinize the year-end stock tables, which will appear in Sunday's press also. Now, these tables will come in handy when you start to figure your gains and losses for income tax purposes or plan future investments. Be sure to get Sunday's press. Call 263-1121 for press home delivery. A hit from 1961 by Bobby B.
'Cause you've taken her away. Well, take good care of my baby.
Take Good Care of My Baby by Bobby B. Wow. Take Good Care of My Baby by Bobby B. And that was a tremendous hit in 1961. We're playing the best of the 60s for you on the Art Pallan Show and throughout the day on KDKA. Jim Horn will continue through the afternoon until 5 o'clock. The Little Round Devil will be here until 5 o'clock, then 60 to 6, then open mic with Mike Levine, and we're enjoying this. Hey, this is Really Kicks, reviewing some of the outstanding hit songs of the 60s. They're great.
1020 KDKA Pittsburgh.
The weather goes like this. I don't know how great that is. Windy and colder with snow flurries this afternoon, steadier falling temperatures, diminishing winds and colder tonight with a chance of snow flurries and a low tonight of 22. New Year's Day, variable cloudiness and cold with a high of 28. Probability of precipitation 40% tonight and 20% on Wednesday, 29 right now, 29 degrees, and the humidity is 72%. The Flood Forecasting Service of the U.S. Weather Bureau says there is a possibility of some minor flooding in the Charleroi and Braddock areas tomorrow afternoon or evening. The Monongahela River is rising because of heavy rains in central West Virginia, and the Weather Bureau says it does not anticipate any flooding along the Ohio River. Crests of around flood stage are expected at Charleroi tomorrow afternoon and at Braddock tomorrow night. Turnpike advisory, gateway to New Jersey, mostly cloudy and wet with some light snow in the Somerset area. Northeast extension of the Turnpike, cloudy and wet. Now, let's listen to Stormy by the Classics 4.
This is Ed Chauncey. There was a time when a child with cerebral palsy was hidden away by his parents. People are more enlightened today, but some adults with cerebral palsy still hide themselves away. Programs of vocational training and recreation help them emerge from their shells. United Cerebral Palsy supports such programs. Won't you support United Cerebral Palsy?
There's a show that came out during the 60s that is going to last for a long time and will turn out to be one of the most talked about, one of the most sought-after shows of all time. There are road shows, there are shows, I guess they have them in just about every major city in the world now, because they have it in Australia, and you'll find it in San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York and just about everywhere. Songs from Hair. There are tremendous songs from Hair. There are, quite a few of them. As a matter of fact, I guess you can have, of the ones that have become hits, you could have a whole album of great hit songs. And here's some of them from a medley by The Fifth Dimension. By The Fifth Dimension. At 22 minutes until 2 on the Art Pallan Show with the great hit songs of the 60s.
KDKA Pittsburgh.
Yeah, throughout the day, every day, and for the next few days, we're going to be playing for you the greats of the 60s, the best of the 60s. We're going to hear from Bobby Vinton in just a little while. There's a fellow who started out as a band leader and had ambitions of following that line. There are many people who have tried that, but it just doesn't seem to work out, other than maybe Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, or a few others, very few. But then he found his niche. He found what the people like, and that's exactly what he did. Started singing the type of songs that the majority of the folks liked, and he has had hit after hit after hit. He doesn't come out with a batch of them. He doesn't come out with one every 2 or 3 weeks, as some artists have done in the past. Maybe every couple of 3 months he might come out with a hit, or come out with a record, and they turn into hits. And we're going to hear one of them from 1964, coming up in just a minute.
Now, seriously, Joseph Horn Company would not ask you to get up early on a Saturday morning and drive all the way to our warehouse just to give you something to do on a Saturday morning. No, sir. You see, Saturday morning at 8:30, Horns opens the doors of its giant warehouse at Kraft & Ingram for a warehouse clearance. And that means you can buy new, famous name appliances, furniture, and floor coverings at early bird clearance prices of 1/4, 1/3, or 1/2 off. I mean things like a 30-inch caloric range for $139, a 5.5 by 9 foot broadloom rug for $35, a Stearns & Foster mattress for $23, or how about a Lazy Boy rocker, clearance priced at $59. Not bad, Seriously, you can really save a lot of money this Saturday at Horn's Warehouse Clearance. Just take the Parkway West to the Roslyn Farms exit 16 and follow the signs. We're open till 9 at night if you're a sleepyhead, but your best bet is Saturday morning at 8:30. It's worth getting up for.
I love you.
From KDKA News, here's Lauren Mann.
Thanks, Art. Texas billionaire Ross Perot has given up his attempt to airlift Christmas gifts to U.S. prisoners of war in North Vietnam. And those gunboats have arrived in Israel. On the tax front, legislators in Harrisburg are still at it in hopes of agreeing on a tax package for the state. In Pittsburgh, Mayor Barr lashes out at the General Assembly for failure to allow Pittsburgh to hike its occupation tax, as the Institute of Real Estate Management says it'll hike rents substantially if Pittsburgh City Council increases real estate taxes. I'll have details on these and other stories in the news at 2 o'clock.
KDKA, Pittsburgh.
Hello, Stranger. That by Barbara Lewis. Certainly one of the big hit songs of the 60s. Just thinking, tonight is amateur night. The people who don't drink at all during the year, other than maybe at a Christmas party, decide they're going to whoop it up on a night like tonight. And then they're sick tomorrow. Like I say, it's amateur night. All the other folks kind of cool it. Here's another of the big one of the 60s by the big group of the 60s, the Beatles. Yeah, by the Beatles. At 12 minutes until 2 on the Art Pallan Show on KDKA. Don't forget, continuing through Sunday, we are playing the best of the 60s, and you'll hear all of the top records of the past decade for 5 days right here on KDKA. Be sure to keep tuned in.
The 1970s promised to be as interesting, sometimes as shocking, and above all as challenging as the 1960s. This is Dave Cossack, and I hope you'll join me on Perspective this Sunday at 5 p.m. as Group W reporters take a look at the future.
How do you like that? Somebody walks in. I said, "Hi, how are you? Happy New Year." I said, "I just had a little drink of orange pop. I'm
Hi, this is Jim Horn. If you're a nurse, you can explore a world of constant discovery by becoming a flight nurse and officer of the 147th Aeromedical Airlift Squadron of the Pennsylvania Air National Guard. Train at the Greater Pittsburgh Airport 1 weekend a month. Serve your country and yourself. For information, call 771-3733.
It is now 7.5 minutes before 2 KDKA time. Glenn Luther, who has been at KDKA for how many years now? How many years, Glenn? He's not paying any attention again. After all these years, I try to get your attention. You won't pay any. How many years have you been at KDKA? 35 years. 53 years. 38. Wow, 38 years is a long time. He certainly has met a lot of people. He's seen a lot of people come and go. And today's his last day. He's going to retire. Wow, that's great. Congratulations, Glenn. Have a good time. You're going to have a ball. You're going to go fishing. You're going to go hunting. You're going to stay home and sleep. You're going to be able to do all the things that you wanted to do all your life. That's great. And have a great time. I'm sure he will. The Son of a Preacher Man, that by Dusty Springfield, and that's certainly one of the big hit songs of the 60s. We are continuing for 5 days playing for you what has accumulated as the outstanding hit songs of the last 10 years. Hey, this is really kicks. I'm getting this is such a joy doing this, listening to some of the songs that conjure up a few memories, and that's pretty nice. Like you'll hear from the Serendipity Singers, haven't heard from them for a long time. Roy Orbison, Freddie and the Dreamers, and let's see who else. Nino Tempo and April Stevens, and the Byrds, Bob Dylan, Donovan, Classics 4, you've heard from them already. Chad and Jeremy, we've heard from them too. And Johnny Rivers and Herman's Hermits and the Beatles, and you name them and you'll hear them right here. All you have to do is stick around. That's the only thing we ask you to do, and you can do that.
Are you short of breath from minor exertion? A gasping that you attribute to being out of shape?
You know the excuses.
You've been making them up for years.
But why don't you take it from the highest medical authority in the land? The Surgeon General has linked cigarette smoking with bronchitis, emphysema, heart attack, and lung cancer.
Kick the habit and join the unhooked generation.
Your Concerned Tuberculosis and Respiratory Disease Association considers your smoking a matter of life and breath.
Stranger on the Shore by Mr. Acker Bilk.
This is KDKA, Group W, Westinghouse Broadcasting for Pittsburgh, and this is Jack Wheeler, hoping you'll listen to my show from midnight till 6 a.m. right here on KDKA.
Ross Perot gives up his attempt to airlift gifts to